evening, everybody. I'm Dominic Kasulki here in Tarboro Municipal Stadium. The River Bandits are facing off against the Outer Banks Scallywags for the second consecutive night in a 3-game playoff series. They won Game 1 last night. A massive Game 1 win. A 14-4 beatdown of the Outer Banks Scallywags. Lee Watson starting on the mound tonight, facing off against the leadoff hitter Hayden Freeze. It's a lefty-lefty matchup to start the game. Gets the strike call there. 0-2 early. Lee Watson on the season. 26 2/3 innings pitched. He's really come alive recently in the last 2 games. He's got 2 starts. That's fouled back. Stays 0-2. The last 2 starts against the Steamers and against the Scallywags. So the Scallywags have seen him pretty recently on July 24th. He went 4 innings. Both of those 2 starts, 4 innings pitched. Didn't get the win in either, but he pitched really well in both of them. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on, that's popped up. Preston Shelton ranging over there in foul territory next to the fence, and it's just going to go out of play. And in the stream, they were asking for some sound before the games. I'm sorry, as the Two Dad Sports Network, our man Chris Brown let you guys know, just before the games, we don't want to risk getting copyrighted and no one can watch the stream during the game because it wouldn't pop up. We really don't want that to happen. Here's the big 0-2 pitch. Swung on, foul back again, a long at bat to start the game for Hayden Freeze. Hayden Freeze having a great year on the Scallywags. Freeze on the season, hitting .321 with a .475 on base percentage with 34 hits, which would make the most on the team. Here's the 0-2, that's outside. Large crowd tonight on the River Bandits side. The Outer Banks side, still a larger crowd than usual on the away side, but not as big as that game clinching 2 and 3 seed game that we had just last week. That's hit hard into right field. Going back at it at the wall, and he is under it. Cam Greenway gets to it. So used to Esten Snyder being out there at right, I almost said him, but Cam Greenway over there in right for out number 1, right at the wall. Hayden Freeze put a hurt on that ball, but just missed it. Unfortunately, in the chat, you're saying not in focus. We have people right there on the camera, and they're shaking it. We're going to let them know to move away from it. They're making the camera shake. It's just a big crowd, so lots of people are standing there. Now facing off against Colmascolo is Lee Watson, up in the count 0-1. So we'll definitely let them know to get out of the way of the camera. Here's the 0-1. That's hit hard. Brandon Phillips making a diving play, but can't get to it over his head at second base. And a 1-out single for Colmascolo, who is the second most hits on the Scallywags. We just informed them about the camera shaking a little bit, trying to get it in focus. They're doing radar over there. Big strike 1 pitch. Josh Folks is a big-framed righty hitter facing off against the lefty Lee Watson on the mound. He has Colmascolo over there at first base. Lee been getting ahead in the count early this game, now 1-1. Lots of nerves here in Tarboro tonight. The pressure more on the Scallywags, but the River Bandits don't want to go into a Game 3 situation. Throw back over to first is not going to be in time. Almost gets away from Nielsen as snagged it at the last second. It stays 1-1. Big story happening here. I know the game's going on, but the Steamers down 6-7. They're 1 out away from losing the first game of the Greenbrier Knights, which is really big as the River Bandits have struggled against the Steamers this year, 2-8. Steamers have a big fan base. That would bring a lot of crowd here to Tarboro. But if the Greenbrier Knights win, all 3 games would be here in Tarboro. Here's the pitch. There's a big swing and a miss. Josh Folks goes down swinging for out number 2.
The first baseman, number 10, Max Puckett.
Brings up Max Puckett, their first baseman. Max Puckett has Cole Muscolo over there at first base, and Lee Watson trying to get out of this inning. Already 1 hit for the Scallywags. Pitch home. That's going to be yanked outside. So 1-0. Defensive alignments, let's get to them. On the mound, we know is Lee Watson. Behind the plate, Josh Wilson. At first, Jack Nielsen. At second, Brandon Phillips. At short, Johnny Wall. At third, Preston Shelton. Get to the outfield in just a moment. Here's the 1-0. That's hit, but fouled behind the stadium, 1-1. From left to right, we got Armani Newton, Eston Snyder, and Cam Greenway. Trying to clinch that championship series, or clinch the return to the championship series. There's a big strike 2 pitch. River Bandits would be entering the championship series once again if they win this game, just like last year. That pitch is outside, makes it 2-2. Lee Watson looking sharp on the mound to start the game, as he has in his recent starts. Runner goes, but it's popped up. Preston Shelton over at third, just out of territory, and he grabs it for out number 3 in foul territory. The River Bandits strand Cole Muscolo over there at first base and get out of the first inning. Looking to add on some runs, we have Armani Newton leading off in the bottom of the first, and the River Bandits trying to clinch that championship series. We'll be right here on YouTube Live in just a moment at the bottom of the first. We have Armani Newton leading off here for the River Bandits in the bottom of the first, and Danny Dietrich on the mound for the Scallywags. His first pitch is going to be outside to start the inning. Hope I'm pronouncing Danny's last name, Dietrich, correctly. So 1-0 to Newton as he's leading off the game. 1-0 pitch. That's going to bounce in the dirt, 2-0 very quickly to Newton. Danny Dietrich has been very solid for the most part. He's had one scuffled start. where he had 9 hits and 8 earned runs against the Steamers in 4 innings. But if you take that away, he has been very, very sharp. Only 3 earned runs other than that for the rest of the season. And he's pitched 21 2/3 innings pitched. So really 4 bad innings from Dietrich, and that's about it. He's really looked sharp. He's pitched against Tarboro for only 2/3 of an inning and allowed 1 hit and 2 strikeouts. So 3-0 to Armani Newton, looking to work the first walk of the game. Here's the pitch. Just on the outside corner. Dietrich gets the strike call. Already have some Let's Go Bandits chants here early in the game, trying to get the crowd going, and the bats booming. That's low, and Armani Newton works the leadoff walk. He slings his bat, almost hits the catcher. Now we have Johnny Wall at the plate with Armani Newton after the leadoff walk, and we have big news. The Steamers lose in the first game of their 3-game series. Johnny Wall looks at a strike. So they lose 7-6 after a 6-2 comeback from the Greenbrier Knights. What a comeback from them. As they're going to play another game tonight, I believe, very shortly. They're supposed to play at 7. It went a little longer. They had a doubleheader after a rainout last night. So if Steamers lose again tonight, then Greenbrier Knights will be advancing to the championship against the winner of this series. Here's the 1-1 of Wall as that's outside, and Newton's going to go after it drops. The slide home, a good throw, but was too late. Newton with some good base running, seeing that catcher Austin Cherry couldn't get a handle on it. So he's in scoring position early in a 2-1 count to Johnny Wall. That really is a big story over there with Edenton, as we've struggled against them immensely this season. Here's the 2-1. Johnny Wall dribbles it, right to the pitcher. It's going to advance Armani Newton, but a quick out to Johnny Wall. That brings up Max Bernal with Armani Newton 90 feet away. Trying to get the first run of the game, as the River Bandits sometimes have had trouble getting those runners in, but he slaps it. Going to be right at the third baseman. Aiden Feather is going to bring the run home with a ground out RBI for Max Bernal for the first run of the game. 1-0 River Bandits. Max Bernal does his job, brings the run home, makes it 1-0 River Bandits here in the first inning. Esten Snyder's coming up at the plate. He's hitting in the cleanup. Big swing and a miss as that bounce up towards our camera. Had a question, any idea of where Boogie Saunders is tonight? And I believe he's in the substitutions. We might see him at some point taking over an extra hitter spot. Ooh, that hits him in the helmet. Luckily, he seems just fine. Takes off his wear and jogs down to first base, so he's okay. But a hit by pitch for Esten Snyder after he's hitting the side of the helmet. See that the camera angle just got moved with the ball hitting the net, and then there's also some kids hanging on the fence, so I will go fix that after this half inning. 0-2 quickly to Snyder, or excuse me, Shelton. Snyder's over there at first with a hit by pitch. He's going to go. Shelton has a big swing and a miss. And that was actually 0-1. The scoreboard here said 0-2. So Snyder gets the stolen base. Shelton trying to bring him home as he's in scoring position now. The pitch home. That's going to hit him in the back. 2 breaking balls from Dietrich that just slipped out of his hand. And
number 34, J.R. Ling.
J.R. Lingerfelt at the plate now with 2 outs. Preston Shelton at first, Snyder at second. J.R. Lingerfelt had 4 RBIs last night in the beatdown at OBX in that 14-4 win. Pretty much everyone on the team had a hit or a walk. It was a hit parade for the River Bandits, trying to keep it up as he slaps that foul. Try to get the positions here for the Scallywags. On the mound, Danny Dietrich. Behind the plate, Austin Cherry at first, Max Puckett at second, Christian Yu at short, Alex Uloa, and at third, Aiden Feather. Get the outfield in just a moment. 0-1 pitch from Dietrich. His hit going to be out of play around the same spot. 0-2 now. And then from left to right for the Scallywags is Hayden Freeze, Cole Muscolo, and Josh Folks, which is the 3 leadoff men. They have their whole outfield leading off their batting order. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's hit into left center. That's going to drop out of his glove. Snyder's going to get home, and Shelton's going to get to third as he took his eye off the ball for just a moment, and it pops out of his glove. River Bandits add another run off an error from the left fielder, Hayden Freeze.
They had him shifted into the gap, and he still dropped it. Well, the right fielder, number 21, Cam Greenway.
Cam Greenway now at the plate after a drop ball from Hayden Freeze, and he's going to go. Throw home, and it's going to slide in safely as Preston Shelton gets home after the steal from J.R. Lingerfelt. And it just no throw from their second baseman, Christian Yu. Just didn't know what to do with it there because there was no play at second, and Preston Shelton gets home safely. A 3rd run for the River Bandits here in the first inning as they're continuing to add on runs as they did last night. Great job from Lingerfelt getting over to second very quickly, making the throw hard for the catcher Austin Cherry, and then the second baseman Christian Yu just had no play on the speedy Shelton on the bases. Definitely will go try to angle out this camera. It's really very tough to fix it when it moves like this, but I will try it. They're already having a meeting on the mound as coach for the Scallywags going to talk to Dietrich. Looked like they were going to get out of the inning, and Hayden Freeze drops a fly ball. Thought it was going to be a 1-run ball game, but now 3-0 River Bandits. And errors always seem to cost whatever team commits those errors, even if they still have another chance to get out of it and it doesn't get any runs on the error. It just seems to have a negative impact on the team in general. And you've seen it a lot this year from the River Bandits and from opposing teams. You've seen it from everyone here in the PCL. It just happens sometimes, and the damage is definitely done. 3-0 River Bandits here in the first inning. Big statement. Cameron Greenway still at the plate, 1-0. Looks at that breaking ball inside. Looks like he wanted to take a swing at that, but it was still a little bit too inside, would have jammed him up. Dietrich trying to get out of this inning. He is J.R. Lingerfelt dancing around second base. That's going to be low. 3-0 now to Cam Greenway with Jack Nielsen on deck. Cam Greenway with a 3-0 count. Looks at that one upstairs as he works the walk. Now first and second. Jack Nielsen coming up at the plate, a chance to add on to this 3-0 River Bandit lead. Jack Nielsen batting .209 on the season with a .400 on-base percentage. He has 18 hits, 16 singles, 2 doubles. He has 20 RBIs, which is third most on the team. It's a chance for another one. He slaps that right at the first base, and Max Puckett, he can't grab it. Jared Lingerfeld's going to round as that's in no man's land. He should go third. He's going to go third. Throw to third. He was a little bit late, but he's going to slide in safely. A 4-0 River Bandit lead. Max Puckett can't scoop it up. Brandon Phillips now at the plate as he's the 9th batter in our batting lineup. Have a chance to go all the way around in just the first inning, and Dietrich has been so good. Except for one bad inning that's popped up in one pitch. Alex Ulloa coming out in the grass. Left fielder Hayden Freeze calling it off for out number 3, but the River Bandits put up 4 in the first inning and go through 9 out of their 10 batters. A great first inning for the River Bandits, as we'll be right back here with Lee Watson on the mound in just a moment. Excuse me, everybody. I was trying to fix that camera angle, and it looks like I did a pretty good job. That's hit at Johnny Wall. Johnny Wall looking to retire the first batter of the inning, and he does. Over to Jack Nielsen for out number 1. A little bit out of breath here. So I got it back in frame pretty well. Lee Watson continuing on the mound, got a first quick out. Only one hit against him so far from Cole Mascolo. Other than that, retired batters, and looks like Jack Nielsen over at first. He's trying to cover it. Lee Watson grabs it and tags first in time. A great play from Nielsen to get to it, and Lee Watson covers just in time. UNC Tar Heel, I could sure take a sausage dog right now. Not with all those toppings, but I could sure take one. Does sound very good right now. Alex Uloa now at the plate as he swings at that. It's going to be a hard hit ball past Johnny Wall. Uloa gets the first pitch and lines that past Johnny Wall for a base hit. Brings up Christian Yu. He's their 8th hitter, the second baseman. Lefty-righty matchup with Uloa, the speedy shortstop at first. Imagine he looks to steal at some point if he gets the chance. 1-0 now to Yu. Lee Watson looking over at first. Pitch home. That's going to be in there. Nice fastball from Watson. He has everything going right now. Watson coming from Pitt Community with a 2.93 ERA, 3 wins, no losses, and 13 appearances. That's going to be hit hard to center field. Essen Snyder backing up just a few steps, and he's under it for out number 3. River Bandits strand another on first base. It'll be the end of the inning. Going to bring up Josh Wilson, the last batter in our batting order in just the second inning. So a big-time first inning for the River Bandits, and Lee Watson doing his job to keep it at 0 against the Scallywags. We'll be right back on YouTube Live. Josh Wilson leading off in the bottom of the second inning, a 4-0 ball game, River Bandits lead. Danny Dietrich continuing on the mound in the second inning. His first pitch is going to be just outside for ball 1 against Josh Wilson. One-0 to him, and that's going to be grounded out towards the third baseman. Aiden Feather makes a bobble, throw over to first. Is going to be a little offline, but Max Puckett stays on the bag for out number 1. Brings up our leadoff hitter, Armani Newton. Armani Newton up at the plate. And the one quick out from Josh Wilson, grounded out over to Aiden Feather. Aiden Feather had a tough time scooping that ball up. Austin Cherry trying to get the frame job behind the plate, doesn't get the call. 1-0 now to Newton. Newton had a hit, a walk, and 2 runs last night. So I want to let you know about everyone's stats last night because it was just insane. The stat lines put up from everyone. Pitch home, and it's going to be in there for strike 1. After Newton last night, Johnny Wall had 3 hits, 1 RBI, 1 walk, and 3 runs. Max Bernal had a hit, a walk, and 3 runs. Snyder had 4 hits, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs. That breaking ball is going to drop in there. A nice breaking ball was Looked like he might have changed his speed a little bit there as it drops in and fools Newton 1 and 2. Here's the 1-2. Newton goes reaching for that one for strike 3. 2 quick outs for Danny Dietrich here in the second inning.
Number 22, Johnny Wall.
Like I mentioned, Johnny Wall had 3 hits, RBI, a walk, and 3 runs last game. He's now at the plate. 2 outs, though. No one on the bases. It's going to be yanked high, and catcher Austin Cherry can't get to it. But no worry for them. No havoc on the base pads like last inning. Preston Shelton last night had 2 hits, an RBI, and 2 runs. J.R. Lingerfeld had 2 hits, 4 RBIs, a walk, and a run. You can see a trend there. It seems like everyone on the team had a hit. As he's going to pop that up in shallow right. Second baseman Christian Yu in the grass for out number 3. A quick 1-2-3 inning for the River Bandits, and Lee Watson coming out to continue doing what he's doing. So we'll be right back here on YouTube Live in just a moment for the third inning. 4-0 River Bandits. Riley Finkelstein, the extra hitter for the Scallywags tonight, is up at the plate to lead off the third inning. Finkelstein on the season batting .207 with a .387 on base percentage. He looks at that one for strike 1. Finkelstein has 12 hits on the season, 11 singles and a double. Has 4 RBIs, 10 runs, 13 walks, and 29 strikeouts. Lee Watson trying to make it 30. Here's the 0-1, and it's a big swing and a miss. He's 1 strike away from making it 30 for Riley Finkelstein. Quickly 0-2. 2 hits already for the Scallywags. It's going to be outside. One and two to Riley Finkelstein. It's going to be just outside. Wow, that was close. Lee Watson didn't finish his great stats at Pitt Community, but he had 43 innings pitched, 47 hits, 14 earned runs. He had 53-20 strikeout to walk ratio, and he allowed 4 home runs. There's a big swing and a miss. He went reaching for that one. Finkelstein goes down swinging for the first out of the third inning.
The catcher, number 9, Austin Cherry.
And Austin Cherry coming up at the plate as he was pretty late addition. We saw him here just a few nights ago on July 29th. He's batting .286 now, but he's only had 7 at-bats. Has 2 hits. Looking for another as he looks at a nasty breaking ball from Lee Watson. It'll be tough to hit that. But the Scallywags do already have 2 hits, but they have nothing to show for it as they've been stranded at first both times. Here's the 0-1. Big swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. Lee Watson is punching the strike zone right now. Looks at the sign from Josh Wilson behind the plate. The 0-2 pitch with 1 out. Swung on, just foul it back. Shakes the camera a bit. Stays 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Just a small dribbler, but it's going to be just foul. The Edenton Steamers playing their second game of the doubleheader tonight at 8:15. So I will keep you updated once that game starts and the score updates on that game. That's a very important game. They lose, and they're out. And that's not what you expect from the top of the league. A 28-12 record. They haven't lost much. Here's the 0-2. That's going to be a dribbler once again at Preston Shelton. Takes a chop, throw over to first. Jack Nielsen high. He grabs it and tags him just in time for out number 2. Great job from Jack Nielsen to take that high throw, high and a little bit offline, and he tags him just in time. Does bring back the top of the batting order in Hayden Freeze. Pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1. Some nasty stuff from Lee Watson already here in the game, as this is his last game for the River Bandits, so we're going to hope to see at least 6 innings out of him. Right now he's at 36 pitches, and he's almost through 3. Gets the same spot. A nice breaking ball this time for strike 2. He's been absolutely dominating, getting ahead in the count, and it's just creating havoc for these players on the Scallywag side. Has 2 strikeouts and 2 hits against him. Looking for his 3rd strikeout through 3. He's at 38 pitches. Here's the 0-2. He yanks that one outside. Facing off against Hayden Freeze, who didn't have a hit his first at bat, but he does have the most hits for the Scallywags on the season. And he's doing it efficiently. Here's the 1-2. Big swing and a miss for strike 3 as Lee Watson continues punching that strike zone at 40 pitches through 30 innings, and 31 of them are strikes. What a great start for Lee Watson. We'll be right back here. Riverbend is trying to add on to that 4-0 lead with Max Bernal leading off. Max Bernal now leading off in the bottom of the third inning, as his first at-bat did his job. He hit it opposite field and brought home Armani Newton. That was the first run of the ball game, which ended up not being the only run. Thought it was going to be after a fly ball was hit to Hayden Freeze from J.R. Lingerfelt. And Hayden Freeze had it pop out of his glove. That could be a game changer, as a 1-0 game versus 4-0 is pretty massive here to start the game, especially when it's an elimination game for the Scallywags. You can't have errors like that, and that's exactly what happened. And now it's 4-0 River Bandits. 2-0 to Bernal. He hits that into shallow left. Could be a tough play. Third baseman coming around, but Alex Ulloa running it down in the grass for out number 1. Essen Snyder now at the plate with a pop-up from Max Bernal. Almost dropped in shallow left. That's hit hard into left center. Going to be tough. Play at the wall, and it drops. Snyder's going to run into second as he's so speedy, and he's going to get a stand-up double in one pitch. If you are new here on the stream, you haven't watched very much, or you probably heard it every single stream, we are muting our mics when the songs are playing. There's walk-up songs for our River Bandit batters. So that's why your mic or your TV or computer, tablet, or phone goes mute. It's not anything wrong with you. Snyder's going to go to third. Throw down. He is way too speedy. There's not even a throw, as there's a 1-2 punch on the bases with Essen Snyder and the man at the plate, Preston Shelton. They have the 2 most stolen bases for our team. Snyder has 18, now make it 19. I'll let you know how many Shelton has very shortly. Here's the 0-1 to Shelton. He reaches for that one, 0-2. Snyder hitting .304 now. He's been scorching in recent games. He had 3 hits on the 28th and 4 last night. He already has a double here in a big spot. Now he's at third base. 0-2 to Shelton. Good take from him. He wanted to go. He takes the high fastball. Shelton, who's now at the plate, hitting .328 with a .386 on base percentage. Shelton has 19 stolen bases. They're both so speedy. Here's the 1-2. It's going to be hit towards the third baseman, Aiden Feather. It's going to bring Snyder home. Throw over to first is going to be just in time to beat Preston Shelton out for out number 2. But it brings home Essen Snyder. Just so massive, putting the ball in play with runners on, and Snyder got a double. A very hard hit double all the way to left center. And then he stole third, not even with a throw from Austin Cherry. That's how fast he is, and with him being 90 feet away, it was just too easy for him to get home after Preston Shelton got the ground out RBI over to Aiden Feather. 0-1 quickly to J.R. Lingerfelt, who had 4 RBIs last night. He's going to look at that one, and that's going to be a ball. It gets away from Austin Cherry behind the plate, 1-1. J.R. Lingerfelt has 4 games played, 14 plate appearances, hitting .273 with a .429 on base percentage. He has 3 hits, 2 singles, and a double. He has 4 RBIs, which were all last night. 3 walks and no strikeouts. That no strikeout is pretty cool to see, as he's been getting, whether it's fouls or ground outs or fly outs, he's been getting his bat on the ball very well, not striking out with runners in scoring position. And that's been a big thing this season, just putting the ball in play. when you have him in scoring position with only one out or no outs, whichever you take it, putting it in play makes the errors happen, and we've already seen 2 here for the Scallywags. He's going to sword swing at that one, tried to hold up. He couldn't. 2-2. Two and 2 to Lingerfeld. He swings and misses at that one. He goes down. He was very late on that fastball from Dietrich. A nice fastball to end the inning, but the River Bandits put on another after an Eston Snyder double and stolen base. And then Preston Shelton grounds out to bring him home. 5-0 River Bandits here on YouTube Live. Back here in Tarboro Municipal Stadium in the top of the 4th inning with Lee Watson on the mound facing off against Cole Mascolo. Cole Mascolo had one of the 2 Scallywag hits. Had his in the first inning as he's the second batter in the lineup, but nothing coming out of it. Lefty-lefty matchup, looking to get another hit. He gets a fastball in the outer half. He's getting that call a lot. He's really pounding that spot. Great job from Lee Watson to see what the umpire's calling and continue going there, as the batters have not been able to get to it much, and they're really just looking at it most of the time. It looks at that same spot. This time it's going to be just outside. Watson only had 40 pitches through the first 3 innings, so we're hoping to see him maybe go 6 innings, 6 to 7, as it is his last night here in Tarboro. Here's the 1-1. That's going to be popped up. It's going to be out of play as Preston Shelton looks at that one. Had no play on that. So 1-2 to Cole Mascolo. Mascolo, the center fielder for the Scallywags. And one of their best guys out there. They've had an up and down season. Here's the 1-2. He's late on that one, and he goes down swinging. Lee Watson adds on his 4th strikeout here. Brings up Josh Folks.
The right fielder, number 13.
Josh Folks, right fielder for the Scallywags. Hits that right to Brandon Phillips. A chopper, a throw over to Jack Nielsen covering first, and it's a quick 1-pitch out for Lee Watson. He continues to impress. Really sad to see him go. We could definitely use him in the championship considering if we make it. Don't want to jump the gun. 5-run lead is never safe here in the PCL. You never know what kind of inning a team can have. We had the Greenbrier Knights hit 3 home runs in 1 inning. We might face him in the championship. Hits that same spot. He continues to hit with that nasty fastball. Weird release angle from him, and it's really screwing up these lefty hitters for these Scallywags. Pitch home, that's going to be popped into left. Armani Newton backing up at the wall, and he's there for out number 3. A quick inning for Lee Watson. He's now at 47 pitches. He went through the 4th in 7 pitches. What an outing for him. Hoping to continue it. But first, we have the batters of the River Bandits up. Have Cam Greenway leading off in the bottom of the 4th. You're watching the Tarboro River Bandits on YouTube Live. Cam Greenway's leading off the inning here in the bottom of the 4th in a 5-0 affair. Looks at that one high in the first pitch of the at-bat. Facing off against Danny Dietrich, who's continuing on the mound so far. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 5 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Cam Greenway looking to add on to either the hit or the walk column. Heck, he could add on to the earned run column here with a solo home run. Here's the 2-0. It's going to be low in the dirt, 3-0 to Cam Greenway. Might have made the screen a little too dark for you guys. Try to brighten it up just a little bit. The sun is setting here, 8:15 in Tarboro, as Cam Greenway looks at that one inside, 3-1. Hope you all are enjoying the stream. A very fun playoff game. Started off hot last night and continuing with 5 early runs. Here's the 3-1 to Cam Greenway. Wow, that misses low, it looks like. Cam Greenway works the walk, bringing up Jack Nielsen with a leadoff walk from Cam Greenway. That's Cam Greenway's 2nd walk of the night already in his first 2 at-bats. Jack Nielsen, Brandon Phillips, and Josh Wilson, the next 3 batters, they all went 0 for 1 in their first at-bat, looking to change that here as a nice breaking ball from Dietrich gets in there for strike 1. Couldn't find exactly where Dietrich went to school this past season. Don't have many stats on him. Jack Nielsen slaps that. It's going to be fouled very quickly. 0-2 to Nielsen. So Danny Dietrich only with those 2 earned runs, but he does have 5 runs, a couple errors on the Scallywags side. Big error from Hayden Freeze at left that allowed a few more runs to come in the first inning, 3 to be exact. Cam Greenway's going to go. The throw from Cherry. No one's covering. It's going to go into the outfield. Cam Greenway stopping as center fielder Cole Mascolo charges that very quickly. Job from Cam Greenway. Getting in there very quickly, but a poor throw, or not even necessarily a poor throw from Austin Cherry. No one covering second. Ulloa tries to run it down from short, and he doesn't get there in time. Cam Greenway gets an easy stolen base. 1-2 now to Jack Nielsen. So we really have been creating havoc on the bases today. Nielsen strikes out. Misses on the breaking ball, bringing up Brandon Phillips. Brandon Phillips now at the plate. As Cam Greenway at second with one out, a righty-lefty matchup looking to bunt, and he does, but it fouls off himself. Oh, it hit his bat. And trying to see what the call is here. Brandon Phillips trying to get an explanation from the home plate umpire. So Brandon Phillips, well, I'll let you know in a minute. Music is playing. So Brandon Phillips bunted, and it hit himself while he went out of the box, so that was a quick out. Unfortunate with Cam Greenway over at second and only one out. Does bring up Josh Wilson, now the bottom of our batting order. He's 0-1. One pitch to him. Breaking ball is going to go just low. Good take from Wilson. Trying to bring that runner home. Dietrich on the season has the third most innings pitched for the Scallywags. 6 games played, 4 of them starts. 2 wins and 2 losses. 21 hits, 16 runs, 12 earned runs, 8 walks, 23 strikeouts. So he really has been sharp. Out of those 12 earned runs, 8 of them were in one outing. Has a 3.87 ERA. Batter's hitting 244 off of him. So now 2-1 to Wilson as that breaking ball just missed low. Is very close. Here's a 2-1. It's going to be yanked outside. 3-1 with Armani Newton on deck. So 3-1. Pitch home from Dietrich to Wilson. That's going to be in the dirt. Cam Greenway is going to stay at second. Doesn't get past Austin Cherry behind the plate, and Josh Wilson works the 2-out walk. Armani Newton, the leadoff hitter, now at the plate with Cam Greenway in scoring position. Holds up there as that ball's outside the appeal, and he does not go. As Josh Wilson over there at first, Cam Greenway at second. Danny Dietrich on the mound trying to get out of this inning. Already 5-0. Armani Newton trying to add on to it as that's just inside. Good take from Newton. Makes it 2-0. Trying to bring up another hot bat in Johnny Wall if Armani Newton can get on base. Really, whole top of the order has been very hot after last night. Putting up 14 runs. They all had a pair of hits. It's home. That is going to be slap foul. Third baseman Aiden Feather running after it, but that's going to be out of play. 2-1 to Newton. I was asked for a scoring recap, so I'll give you that in just a moment. The 2-1 pitch, it's going to be just low now, 3-1. Johnny Wall on deck to start the game. Had a walk from Armani Newton. Max Bernal grounded out, and that brought home Armani Newton. A couple hit by pitches and a big error on a line drive to Hayden Freeze brought home a pair of runs. As Armani Newton works the walk. Bringing up Johnny Wall with the bases loaded, a chance to really blow open this game in the bottom of the fourth. That brings up Johnny Wall, but they're having a meeting on the mound that could be the end of Dietrich's night. We have music playing, so I'll be right back. Thought the music was done playing, but it came right back on. Gave me a little jump scare, but Danny Dietrich is continuing on the mound with Johnny Wall now at the plate with the bases loaded. Really trying to play with the settings on how dark it is. I've been making it a little too bright and a little too dark. Trying to get it back to normal. Johnny Wall at the plate with the bases loaded. That's going to be a fastball down the heart of the plate. He looks at that one. Probably wants that one back. 0-1 to Wall. Armani Newton at first. At third, Cam Greenway. Another pitch down the heart, but it's going to be low this time. 1-1. Big spot to blow open this game. He has Josh Wilson at second, Armani Newton at first, Cam Greenway at third, trying to bring them all home. Hasn't had a home run this season, looking for one now. He hits that, going to be shallow center. That's going to bring home Cam Greenway. Josh Wilson rounding the throw to the plate, going to be cut off, and he slides in safely. River Bandits put up two more with a hit from Johnny Wall to shallow center, 7-5. Big hit from Johnny Wall to make it 7-0. Very early in the bottom of the fourth. Danny Dietrich struggling as Mike P in chat said, "Come on, Johnny," and now he's celebrating the big hit from Johnny. That was all sparked from you, Mike. So Newton's now at second. Johnny Wall moved him over there. He had no chance to go to third after it was cut off from Dietrich. Now Max Bernal grounds it out past Max Puckett, and it's going to go in between him and Christian Yu. It's going to bring home Armani Newton, sliding or getting into third safely. A bobble from Aiden Feather, and Max Bernal going to run into second. Now second and third, 2 outs after a big hit from Max Bernal. 8-0 River Bandits. having a meeting on the mound. It looks like this time it is going to be the end of Dietrich's night. So we'll be right back here on YouTube Live. Brings up hot hitting Eston Snyder. Hot hitting outfielder, center fielder, and right fielder. He looks at that one for strike one. Unconventional arm angle from the new pitcher. New pitcher, Ryan Cason, who we've seen in his last two outings. That's going to almost get to the backstop. Great stop from Cherry behind the plate, 1-1. Cason's only pitched 8 2/3 innings on the season. 8 hits against them, 4 earned runs, 3 of them all in one outing against the Steamers, so we really have not hit him at all. Has a 3.23 ERA and batters hitting 235 off him. 2-1. It's going to be upstairs. Snyder working a nice at bat. He has Johnny Wall at third and Max Bernal at second, trying to make it a 10-0 ball game already here in the bottom of the fourth. The 3-1 pitch. It's going to be popped up. Austin Cherry looking for it. Might have a tough time, but he gets it right on the third base line for out number 3. River Bandits strand him on second and third as they can't get the 10-0 lead. But they do have an 8-0 lead after a big hit from Johnny Wall. Watson on the mound in the bottom of the 5th inning. Aiden Feather leading off for the Scallywags, as they're going to have a long road ahead to get back to this ball game and try to advance to or at least have a chance to advance to the next round, as they're down 1-0 in the series versus the River Bandits. River Bandits bats have stayed hot after the 14-run game last night, as Lee Watson's second pitch is going to be yanked outside. That first pitch looked really close. That fastball, I thought it hit the outer edge, but called the ball. 2-0 now to the leadoff man in Aiden Feather. Aiden Feather hitting .284 with a .471 on base percentage. He's been great at getting on base, but he fouls that one back. 2-1 now. Lee Watson has been holding the fort down in this game, as he has not really been missing on anything, just a couple of hits on him. Cole Muscola with one of them, and Alex Uloa with another. 2-1 pitch. It's going to be outside and high. 3-1 now. So it goes Aiden Feather, James Duncan, and Alex Uloa in this inning. Lee Watson hoping to go 1-2-3 once again, as he has already multiple times this game. Lee Watson at 51 pitches, 38 of them strikes. That's what I mean when I keep telling you he's punching that strike zone right now. Pitch home, that one's going to be outside. Maybe a little announcer's jinx. Shouldn't talk about that too much. Maybe he'll get the double play right after here.
The designated hitter, number 16, James Duncan.
He has James Duncan, the designated hitter, as Josh Wilson's going to have a talk with Lee Watson. Trying to calm him down. That's his first walk of the ball game. He has not been struggling with any command, which has been a big problem for the River Bandits. Really haven't been hit extremely hard in many games. You know, there's always a game on occasion where you get hit hard, but for the most part, we'll out-hit a team and still lose because you just walk 10 men. You can't do that. Right now, first walk of the ball game in the top of the 5th, almost halfway through the ball game. Lee Watson trying to keep it scoreless through half. Gets a ground ball. Could be a double play. It's going to be too tough for Johnny Wall, but he gets the force out at first over to Brandon Phillips. This heads-up play from Johnny Wall, as he has not made many mistakes over there at shortstop. He's really been a saving grace, as at the start of the season, River Bandits were having trouble in the infield with errors. Not necessarily at the shortstop position, but just in general, everyone trying to find their really spot on their team and position that they're going to play. As I mean, even third base Shelton has played outfield. Johnny Wall came right in playing shortstop. Phillips played shortstop and third base. Jack Nielsen has really only played first. Outfield has been switched up many times this season. We've had some departures from Ethan Barnes and Cruz Newman. Eston Snyder has played most of every game. Boogie Saunders is out there at center a lot of the time. He's a day off today. So 1-1 to Uloa, who has one of the 3 hits. That breaking ball gets in there. Uloa takes it. Backdoor breaking ball. Uloa didn't see it coming. That's hit hard into right field, but it's going to slap it foul. As Aiden Feather there at first, it's grounded out over to Shelton to play to second. And Brandon Phillips drops it. That's going to get him over to third. Well, no, the throw to third. No, he's not going to throw it. Acted like Snyder was going to throw it. He doesn't. And actually, I was just talking about Boogie. He replaced Cam Greenway. Boogie's now in center. At right field is Eston Snyder. So a very unfortunate play as Brandon Phillips couldn't haul it in on the throw from Shelton. They were going for the double play or just a force out in general. Couldn't get it. Now runners on the corners, 1 out, still a double play. That's still available for Lee Watson. He's facing off against Christian Yu. Christian Yu 0 for 1 on the day. He's going to be slapped into their dugout sharply, 0-1. Steamers are now in their second game of the doubleheader, a 0-0 ball game in the bottom of the first inning. 2 outs and the Steamers hitting. Here's the 0-1. Big swing and a miss. He's late on that fastball, 0-2. Yeah, Mike P., I might have talked him out of that first at-bat with the strikeout after he got the walk. I'll try not to praise him too hard next time, but I am hoping for a double play here. Had a couple of ground balls, chance at 1, but the misplay at second took that chance away. I think they most likely would have just gotten the force out at second either way, which would have happened for both of the first 2 outs if we had collected it. Nonetheless, runners on the corners, 1-2 count, pitch home, that breaking ball, backdoor breaking ball in there for strike 3, a backwards K of Christian Yu. What a pitch from Lee Watson. He's had that backdoor breaking ball working very well for him, as well as the fastball. He's pitched 4 2/3, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. He has 62 pitches right now. We really could see him go through possibly 6, possibly 7. You'd love to see it. Here's the 0-2, or excuse me, 2 outs. First pitch of the at-bat. So 1-0 to Riley Finkelstein, the extra hitter. On deck, Austin Cherry, the bottom of the batting lineup for the Scallywags. There's runners on the corners, 1-0. That breaking ball in there for strike 1. I think I finally got the lighting pretty well with the sunset finally, and the lights are on. Nice crowd here in Tarboro, cheering on the 8-0 deficit of the Scallywags on the Scallywag side, and the River Bandits side cheering on that massive lead. I don't know if they do the 10-run rule in the playoffs, so I don't know if there's any chance of us getting out with a big win, but Lee Watson trying to keep it 8-0 here. Fastball's going to be just too high, 2-1. Chance to get out of it. Here's the 2-1. Just high once again. It's pretty close, but I think it was a little bit high for Watson. As Ulua on the bases. That's going to be a big swing and a miss. Can't get to it. 3-2, a full count for Lee Watson and the batter Riley Finkelstein in a big spot in this game. OBX trying to get any sort of light. Trying to bring it back. This is their chance to get something on the board. Home plate umpire talking to Lee Watson. Don't know exactly what's going on, but he's going to step off for a second and talk to the umpire at short tonight. Here's the payoff pitch. Runner's going to go, and that's going to be outside. The bases are now loaded with Austin Cherry at the plate. Have someone thrown in the bullpen here for the River Bandits as Lee Watson now has the bases loaded against him.
The catcher, number 9, Austin Cherry.
Actually, to be honest with you, I think they're throwing the football in the bullpen now. I don't think there's really action going on, but I heard from our PA to the right of me, Mr. Jake, there's action. Maybe he sees an angle I don't, but I see someone throwing a football. But here's the bases loaded with Austin Cherry. A good stop, or a good catch from Josh Wilson, not letting it get to the backstop. 1-0 now to Cherry. Cherry, I mentioned earlier, only 8 at-bats here for the Scallywags, a late addition. Pitch home. That fastball is in there for strike one. Lee Watson has 70 pitches now, trying to keep the pitch count as low as he can, get out of this inning. The 1-1 is going to be jammed foul into their dugout. 1-2. He's a strike away from getting his 6th strikeout and stranding the bases loaded. They're trying to bring home a couple runs. The 1-2 pitch from Watson. Big swing and a miss. He can't get to the fastball. 6th strikeout of the game, and he strands the bases loaded. Still an 8-0 ball game for the River Bandits as Lee Watson continues his dominance. First jam of the game for him, but he gets out of it. What do you know? We're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning. We're halfway through this ball game. 8-0 River Bandits. Have Preston Shelton leading off. We'll be back in just a moment on YouTube Live. Back in Tarboro Municipal Stadium as Preston Shelton is leading off the bottom of the 5th. We're halfway through this ball game on this beautiful summer night. Have Ryan Kaysen on the mound as Preston Shelton swings at that one, fouls it back. 1-1 now to him. We have J.R. Lingerfeld on deck. Danny Dietrich started out the game. Now Ryan Kaysen on the mound. A ground out over to third baseman Aiden Feather. Throw over to first in time to Max Puckett for out number 1. JR at the plate. He swings one pitch, but it's going to be grounded foul. JR Lingerfeld, he was behind the plate for one game this season as he only had a few games here in Tarboro. Other than that, he's been our extra or designated hitter. Tonight, he's the extra hitter. Here's the 0-1 to him as he hits that back at the pitcher over into center field. Nice piece of hitting from J.R. Lingerfeld to get on with one out. And as mentioned earlier, a question from Maria Martindale, if where's Boogie tonight? Well, he's right here. He's pinch hitting for Cam Greenway. He's over in center field. He took over center and moved Snyder over to right. And I'm really used to Snyder being in right and Boogie, being in center. As Boogie looks at that one on the outside corner, 1-1. As Jaron Lingerfeld over at first and Jack Nielsen on deck. I got word that the throwback to first is close. Wow. JR just got back in time. I got word in the chat that the run rule is not applied in the playoffs. So I was curious about that. Glad to know. Thank you, Maria Martindale and Jack Quincy. Pitch home. That's going to be outside. Boogie in a 2-1 count. So you'd love the River Bandits to get that 10-run lead, but it doesn't really make a difference in the fact of ending the game early. But it would be big as Boogie Saunders swings at that one. He's couldn't get to that breaking ball. It was a nicely located pitch from Ryan Cason, now 2-2. He's trying to get on for Jack Nielsen to add on to Nielsen's 20 RBIs. Pitch home as he's going to ground it out over to Aiden Feather. Double play chance. Run over, and there's going to be no throw, but they get the force out with the second baseman Christian Yu tagging second. Jack Nielsen now at the plate with the speedy Boogie Saunders at first base after the force out. Chance he might go eventually, and Jack Nielsen looks at that one low, 1-0. Thank you, Chris, for giving the chat a chance to shout me out. So thank you, I appreciate it. It is Kasulki though, not Krasulki. But I know you're trying your best. You did botch it pretty bad, though. It's Kassuoke. Or maybe you did it on purpose to be funny. I feel like you do know it. I don't know. 2-0. Now to Jack Nielsen with Boogie at first. He's going to go like I thought. A hit right back. Great job from Boogie going. A hit and run. Chance that he might go home. They are going to keep him at third, as it was hit right where the second baseman, Christian Yu, would have been if Boogie didn't go. Great job from them. Brandon Phillips now at the plate. He tried to bunt his first at bat, and he went out of the box and it bunted off his leg, and that was a quick out. He hits it right back at Max Puckett, a hard hit line out, but it's right into the glove of the first baseman, Max Puckett, a quick out. Lee Watson, I imagine, is coming out again, but we do have work in the bullpen. Yep, he's coming out, so we have work in the bullpen. If he gets in trouble, he is at 72 pitches, but we'll be right back in just a moment. 8-0 lead for the River Bandits. Hayden Freeze, the left fielder, is leading off here in the top of the 6th inning. Lefty-lefty matchup to start it as Lee Watson is getting the go to pitch in the 6th inning. He gets a big swing and a miss to start it. Nice breaking ball that looked like it was a strike all the way down, and it fools Hayden Freeze. Lee Watson trying to go 1-2-3 as he's at 73 pitches now through 5 innings. Another fastball gets by him. Now, the first one was a breaking ball, but his fastball has just been working so good that it feels like he could throw it every single time. Only 2 hits for the Scallywags, 6 for the River Bandits, and River Bandits put up 8 runs. A couple of errors for the Scallywags have helped that out. Here's the 0-2 and a 3-pitch strikeout to lead off the 6th inning. Lee Watson dominating on the mound. And that might do it for him. He was going to get that matchup, and he points to the bullpen, Coach Crosby does. That's going to be the end of his outing. He's only at 75 pitches. And with it being his last game, I thought maybe he might have been getting the go-ahead to go a little bit longer, but it seems like 75 has been the range for the River Bandits starting pitchers to get called out. So we have a new pitcher coming in. We'll let you know who it is in just a moment here on YouTube Live. Brock Render coming out on the mound in relief of Lee Watson. Lee Watson with an amazing outing. A ground out, 1 pitch, but it's going to be just foul. Jack Nielsen being funny over there at first, acting like it was in play, but that was definitely foul. 0-1 to him. Brock Render coming in after the wonderful outing from Lee Watson, where he went 5 1/3 innings pitched with only 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. That 2 walk to 7 strikeout ratio is exactly what the River Bandits have been asking for all season from their pitchers, and they get one in the second game of the playoffs. And in the first game, Bryant Baranek Actually, I don't think I let anyone know yet about how the pitchers did in the first game, so I'll let you all know that in just a moment. But Brock Arender, I want to let you know how he's been doing. He's facing off against Cole Mascolo, second hitter in the lineup. 1-1 count to him, and he's late on that fastball, and it seems like a repeat occurrence for the Scallywags right now. They can't get to the River Bandit pitcher's fastball tonight. Two lefty pitchers, and Coach Grant Crosby, smart scouting from him, as there's so many lefties on that Scallywag side. And we're just throwing out the lefties with some gas. And they're doing what they need to do, and he does it again. The fastball gets by him with a big strikeout for out number 2. Brock Arender comes out with a big strikeout. Brings up Josh Folks. We're waiting for him to get in the box. On the season, Brock Arender has 17 1/3 innings pitched, all out of the pen. He has 1 win, no losses. 12 hits against him, 8 earned runs, 19 walks, 30 strikeouts. He has a 4.15 ERA. Batter's hitting 185 against him, so he's really been a top pitcher here. Pitched a lot of innings. Eighth most on the team. 1-0 pitch. Can't get to the fastball. Josh Folks is late on it. Thank you, Jack Quincy and Mike P. I really glad you guys are enjoying the stream, and I'm glad you guys have the alternative when you're not able to make the game, because I know it's fun going to the games, but I'm glad you guys can watch them here. And it's really fun doing it too, so it's just been a great experience, and great to be able to have all the fans be able to watch when they can't come out, or parents when they're in different states. So many different players from different areas. It's just awesome. Here's a 2-1 from Arender. That's going to be high. 3-1 now to Josh Folks, the third hitter in the lineup. He's from Campbell University. The 3-1 pitch. It's going to be slapped away foul. 3-2 now at full count. Wanted to let you know in that 14-4 victory last night, pitching-wise, Baranek went 5 innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts with no walks. Quincy went an inning, 3 strikeouts, no walks, and Raper went 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Here's the payoff pitch from Arender. Just fouls it. Wow, that was close to the camera. You just saw that on the live stream. It might have gave you a little bit of a jump scare with how close the ball came to the camera. Here's another payoff pitch. Slap foul again. Few pitches in a row. Foul from Josh Folks as he's starting to line up his bat with that fastball. Render trying to punch the zone and punch Josh Folks out. Has 2 outs. First out was from Lee Watson and 3 pitches of Hayden Freeze. Here's the payoff. That's going to be low, and Josh Folks works the full count walk, bringing up Max Puckett, their cleanup hitter. Render looks at the sign, and there's going to be a timeout from the home plate umpire as there's some kind of butterfly or moth flying around, so they call the timeout. And it's just staying right there in the batter's box. Looks like Max Puckett wanted to swing at it, but the moth flies away. It's starting to come back a little bit. I got a nice play-by-play of the butterfly or moth, whatever. I take it it's a moth at this time of night. Still kind of hanging around there, but they're coming back to play. Josh Folks over there first after he worked the walk, another lefty hitter. That's why Grant Crosby keeps putting out these lefty pitchers for the River Bandits, and especially in an 8-0 ball game. Not that Arender hasn't been one of the guys, he really has been, but they're trying to keep that lead and not throw out someone that has a chance of getting a start like Ryan Nielsen or Camden Martindale in the championship. Baranek threw last night, threw around 75. Watson's not going to pitch again for the River Bandits, so those are 2 guys that might start. That's popped up over to Preston Shelton in foul territory. Going to be a tough play at the fence, and he is under it right next to the fence for out number 3. River Bandits keep it 8-0, and Brock Arender goes out and does his job. In relief, Lee Watson, great job from him as we have Josh Wilson, the bottom of the batting order, and then on deck after him, Armani Newton. So we'll be right back here on YouTube Live in the top of the 7th inning, an 8-0 River Bandit lead. Josh Wilson is leading off in the the bottom of the 6th inning as he looks at a ball to start the inning. 1-0 to him. Still have the same pitcher, Ryan Kaysen, in relief of Danny Dietrich. Kaysen's been doing a great job on the mound. Right now in a 2-0 count to the bottom of the lineup, Josh Wilson, who's behind the plate tonight. Been having a roundabout of catchers behind the plate here in Tarboro throughout the season. We've had Josh Wilson, we've had Phillips Daniels, we now have J.R. Lingerfelt, and we had Colin Hughes before he departed. So lots of catchers. We also have Walt Williams, who I've only seen play one game. I don't know if he left the team or had too many at-bats in high school. I don't know exactly what happened with him, but I do remember seeing him at the start of the season. Here's the 2-1. Wilson grounds that. It's going to be foul. 2-2, and I mentioned the jump scare of the baseball earlier, and McGuire Craddock thought the exact same thing. That was a pretty big jump scare. He's a friend of mine watching the stream, so shout out to him for watching. Here's the 2-2. That's going to be just outside. Good take from Josh Wilson as that breaking ball broke right at the end. Here's the payoff pitch. Josh Wilson goes down swinging. He reaches for that one for the first out of the inning, bringing up our leadoff hitter, Armani Newton. That brings up our leadoff hitter, Armani Newton, who on the day has a hit and 2 runs. 1-0 to him as that bounces up. Johnny Wall on deck. He has 3 hits already on the day. He had that massive bases loaded hit that brought home a run. Here's the 1-0. That's slapped. It's going to be right at Alex Ulloa at short. Might be a tough play with how fast he is. That's high. Armani Newton just gets beat out. 2 quick outs for Ryan Kaysen. That brings up Johnny Wall, which I mentioned has 3 hits, an RBI, a walk, and 3 runs. He has been great today. Oh, excuse me. I'm looking at last night's game. I still have the stats from that game. That is an 0-1 with a nice strike from Ryan Kaysen, working fast. That's going to be outside, though, 1-1. Johnny Wall in the day has a hit and 2 RBIs. I was jumping the gun on his stat line. Maybe he'll have that by the end of the game. He's going to look at that one inside, 2-1. But Johnny Wall did have that big bases loaded hit that extended the River Bandit lead, really blew the game open. This time he can't get to that breaking ball, 2-2. 2 quick outs for Ryan Cason. He's trying to go 1-2-3. Just outside. Wow, a nice pitch from Cason. That's been getting called pretty frequently today on the outside corner. Didn't get the call there and makes it full count. River Bandit is trying to get a 2-out rally going with Johnny Wall at the plate. Max Bernal on deck. Here's the payoff pitch, and he's going to sky that, but it's going to be way foul into our dugout, or excuse me, our bullpen. So 3-2. 6 hits for the River Bandits, 2 for the Scallywags. There's been great situational hitting and base running for the River Bandits tonight. The payoff pitch from Cason, he misses at that one. Just spoiled it, though. Thought maybe he completely missed. I was wondering why he wasn't sprinting over the first. Cason working very fast. Another payoff. Breaking ball is going to be low as Johnny Wall works the walk, bringing up a hot-hitting Max Bernal. Brings up Max Bernal after Johnny Wall just worked the full count walk. Max Bernal also has a hit and 2 RBIs today. Johnny Wall's going to go. He's going to hit it right back at center field. Johnny Wall's going to round second. Going to be a play at third. He's going to slide in, and it's offline, and Max Bernal is going to stay at first. A hard hit single over to center field, and Cole Mascalo's throw over to third to Aiden Feather is not in time to get Johnny Wall. Essen Snyder has a hit and 2 runs with Max Bernal at first and Johnny Wall at third. Great base running from Johnny, getting into third base in time. I have a feeling Max Bernal might go. That pitch is just outside, and I was right. Max Bernal runs in with no throw, as earlier in the game, River Bandits had first and third. Runner from first stole, and J.R. Lingerfeld and Preston Shelton at third. He stole home and got in safely. That was during one of our big innings. Scored for that inning. Here's the 1-0 to Snyder. That's going to be outside again. Same spot, 2-0. Snyder now hitting over 300 on the season for the River Bandits. 2-0 pitch. Going to look at that one now, 3-0. Good at bat from Snyder, laying off with Preston Shelton on deck, and Shelton's had a hot bat recently. He's been very consistent throughout the year, but recently getting back to his scorching hot ways. 2 runners in scoring position for Snyder. That hits the outside corner. Another close call as it wasn't called earlier in the at-bat. Here's the 3-1. Got to be in there again. Works it full. Good job from Cason getting back into it. Here's a payoff pitch, another one from Cason after he's been working so fast. That's hit hard into center field. Cole Mascalo backing up, and he is under it for out number 3 in the bottom of the 6th. The River Bandits strand him on the corners, or excuse me, on second and third after Max Bernal stole. And Johnny Wall was stranded over at third. Brock Arender, I can only imagine, coming out on the mound once again after a nice 2 outs in the 6th. So we'll be right back here on YouTube Live in the 7th inning. You're watching the Tarboro River Bandits. have a new pitcher on the mound, Evan McLean, for the River Bandits. We haven't seen Evan McLean in a long while, as he's been a really solid pitcher for the River Bandits. He was a later addition. He did play July 27th, but before then, he didn't play until July 18th. So his last game was against the Scallywags. He went 2 1/3. Had a hit and an earned run in it. 5 walks, so that was his worst outing by far. He did have 2 strikeouts. He has a 1.74 ERA as it pop up in one pitch. Sky high pop up in second base. Looks like Sal Lamo came into the game for Brandon Phillips. So you have an out, quick out, pop up to Sal Lamo in the infield. Evan McLean has batters hitting 189 against him. He's been very solid, and you might be wondering why is he coming in an 8-run ball game in the 7th inning. But you got to keep those pitchers' you got to keep their arms warm, because later in the playoffs he comes in first game of the playoffs, might be a little rusty, and that's not what you want from one of your top pitchers, top relief pitchers, and can really call him a closer, one of our closers. So we have a few of those. Another would be Adam Quincy. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's going to be hit past McLean. Tough play. Lamo dies. It was a tough dive for him as he kind of skidded on the ground after, and the ball almost popped back at him. So a single for James Duncan, bringing up Alex Uloa, the shortstop of the Scallywags.
The shortstop, number 8, Alex Uloa.
Evan McLean out of UNC Pembroke had a 4.39 ERA, 12 wins, 3 losses, and 27 appearances. He was really solid at UNC Pembroke, but he's transferring. We don't know where. Wouldn't let us know in our interview. Had that earlier in the season. We used to do a few interviews during the season, but they just ended up stopping. Do have the microphones for it. Maybe I'll do a couple more before the season ends. Probably championship series, we might have a few, assuming we make it there. A few innings away from the championship series as that fastball is in there for strike 1. I appreciate the comments, Joea, for the great job commenting, and same for Blake 45. I really appreciate it, and go Bandits, Colby. So 1-1 to Alex Uloa. James Duncan over at first. Evan McLean on the mound for the first time in a while. Pitch home, big swing, can't get to it. 1-2. Have the Edenton Steamers in their second game of the doubleheader tonight. They're in a 0-0 ball game in the top of the 3rd inning. They lose to the Greenbrier Knights here. They lost the first game. They lose again. They're out, and they were the best team in the PCL this season. That would be big. Here's the 1-2 to Uloa. Runner's going to stay, and a big swing and a miss for strike 3. Second out of the inning for Evan McLean, and he keeps James Duncan over there at first.
The second baseman, number 25, Christian Yu.
That fastball completely ate up Alex Uloa. It brings up Christian Yu, and Christian Yu, a two-way player. He's pitched against us, and he's not saying he's bad behind or at the plate, but on the mound, he was really strong. He had a strong 6 innings. So 1-0, Evan McLean with a righty-righty matchup. James Duncan at first. Might see him go eventually. That's going to be in there for strike 1. Top of the 7th inning. In an 8-0 ball game. No run rule. Wouldn't be in effect at the moment anyways. Only 8-0, not 10-0. River Bandits botched a couple of chances to make it 10, as that's going to be inside. Thought that might hit him as Christian Yu is crowding the plate. Two and one to Yu, 7 hits for the River Bandits, 3 for the Scallywags. A couple of errors really messed up the momentum of the Scallywags, and they can't have that. That's hit over Johnny Wall's head over at short. Boogie Saunders charging it at left center, and he's going to get to it and keep him at first and second. Evan McLean giving up a couple of hits, which is pretty uncommon for him with how great he's been, but 2 outs. So big chance to get out of it. And he's also facing the EH Riley Finkelstein, the 9th in the batting order. And Riley Finkelstein on the season has not been up to, I imagine, what his standard is. Batting .207, .387 on base percentage, 12 hits, 11 singles, and a double. 4 RBIs, 10 runs, and 13 walks. He's trying to bring home at least 1 run, as he has 1 man in scoring position in James Duncan. Another righty-righty matchup. Good job from Coach Grant Crosby, seeing a lot of righties at this part of the lineup, putting in the righty Evan McLean. He gets strike 1 in the inside corner. Really is a beautiful night for baseball here. Not as hot as the previous games have been against the Scallywags. Those games were scorching hot, and today it's relatively cool. Still the summer, so you're still getting some heat. Here's a pitch. He can't hold up on it. He swings, sword swing, 0-2. Clean, a pitch away, getting out of this inning and stranding the runners on first and second. Behind the plate is Josh Wilson, and McLean's looking at that. Sal Lamo coming over to second. Watching James Duncan, the pitch home. That's going to be on the outside corner, a backwards K, and Riley Finkelstein goes down looking at that one. He's not happy with the call, but Evan McLean gets out of the inning in the 7th, stranding him on first and second. The end of the top half of the 7th, and Preston Shelton is leading off the bottom half in an 8-0 River Bandit lead. We'll be right back here on YouTube Live. Preston Shelton's leading off in the bottom of the 7th against Ryan Cason, as he's been on the mound for a while. A hard hit over to second base. Christian Yu taking that, smothering it at second, and throw over to Max Puckett for out number 1 in 1 pitch. Preston Shelton goes down swinging. Bringing up J.R. Lingerfelt, as I'll let it play for 1 second. Don't want to get copyrighted, but wanted to let you know his walk-up song. It's the peanut butter jelly song from J.R. Lingerfeld as he hits that hard into right. Right fielder is going to get under that. Josh Folks just gets to it in time. Looked like he might have underran it. Didn't think he was going to get there in time. He started slowing down. But he does for a quick 2 outs. Ryan Cason, 2 pitches, 2 outs of Preston Shelton and J.R. Lingerfeld. Boogie Saunders at the plate now as he pinch hit for Cam Greenway earlier in the game. He's in center now, and Essen Snyder moved over to right. 1-0 to him. He holds up on that, but it's in there for strike one. The 1-1 pitch, that's going to be way inside. Snyder, or excuse me, Boogie Saunders backs out of the way of that one. I was just mentioning Snyder over there in right. Had him in my mind. Here's the 2-1. He hits that hard into left center, but the left fielder, Hayden Freeze, is right there. Didn't even have to move. Boogie hit it right to him. So a quick 3 outs for Ryan Cason. That was a really fast inning, fastest of the game. It's been a relatively fast game. As we're heading into the 8th inning, we'll see if McLean comes right back out. It looks like he's going to, so we'll be right back on YouTube Live. Austin Cherry, the bottom of the lineup for the Scallywags, is leading off here in the 8th inning, and Evan McLean coming out for another inning. He's stranded 2 on. It's that scorch down the third base line. That's going to drop just foul. He got a hold of that ball, but he was a little early on it. Went all the way to the left field wall in foul territory. And where Armani Newton's playing, I think that would have been a for sure double for Austin Cherry, but nonetheless 0-1. McLean trying to pitch around that. 0-1 pitch. That's going to be low. 1-1. McLean, I didn't finish McLean's stats. He had 27 appearances, 25 of them starts, 110 and 2/3 innings pitched with 107 hits, 54 earned runs, 51 walks, 108 strikeouts, and 9 home runs allowed. As his second pitch there is a ball, or second consecutive ball. Two and one to Austin Cherry. Swings at that one, just fouls it to the backstop. 8-0. River Bandits are 6 outs away from winning the first round of the playoffs. Nice crowd here in Tarboro waiting for that big cheer after they do it, barring anything disastrous, as that's popped into left field. Could be a tough play. Armani Newton's going to have it drop in front of his feet. Wasn't really a play there, and it was dropped just in shallow left. Good piece of hitting from Austin Cherry, as he was really all over Evan McLean that whole at bat. Brings up number 22, Hayden Freeze. He's coming back around to the top of the batting order, and a lot of lefty hitters. So we have the righty Evan McLean on the mound. Going to be a lot of righty-lefty matchups coming up. They went through a lot of the righties already. As that misses the outer corner. Seemed like that was getting called earlier in this game. Isn't called there from the home plate umpire. 1-0 now from McLean. He has Austin Cherry over at first. And the leading hitter for the Scallywags, Hayden Freeze, at the plate. Cherry inching towards second, taking a little bit of a lead. McLean looking at the sign from Wilson. Pitch home is going to be outside. Good stop from him. Keeping it from going to the backstop. In the chat, Christina Misner said River Bandits saving their secret weapon for the championship, and Mike P. asked who that is. I'm wondering the exact same thing. We'll see when she gets to it. I don't know if it was something I said and she was reacting to it. But we will see. Here's the 2-0. Holds up on that one, and wow, look down the middle of the plate, and it didn't look very low. Doesn't get the call. 3-0 now. And I'd like to thank Samuel Whaley. I'm glad you get to watch the games from Tennessee. I know it'd be a tough drive all the way over here to Tarboro, but I'm glad you've enjoyed the stream. I really appreciate it. Here's the 3-0. That's going to hit the outside corner this time. I feel like it should be a 2-2 count, but McLean didn't get the favorable call. So 3-1. We'll see if Cherry goes ever. Doesn't go there. The 3-1 is going to be high, and Cherry's going to move over to second after the walk from Hayden Freeze. No outs. Men on first and second, and Cole Mascolo coming up to the plate. I really should stop talking about the fact that we're so close to clinching it, because ever since I've started talking about it, a couple of a hit and a walk. And it was a bloop hit for Austin Cherry, and then a tough call against McLean. So we still have a lot of work to do here in Tarboro to get out of this ball game. 2 on, no out. Evan McLean facing off Cole Mascolo, as that is on the outside corner, but doesn't get that call. Might have been a little bit too outside. See if McLean can pitch out of it. Imagine he can. He's been so strong here in Tarboro, and he's been strong at UNC Pembroke as well. That's fouled back very sharply. 1-1. Looking for a double play is Evan McLean. Double play, a strikeout, or a pop-up. Doesn't want the runners to advance. Like to keep it at 0. Don't want any stress or any friction later in this game, as it is pretty late already. This is really the point where they can come back, or they need to come back. There's a big swing and a miss for strike 2. Breaking ball fooled Cole Mascolo. So on the day, Mascolo has a hit, and it was in his first at-bat. Other than that, he has been hitless. He's 2 strikeouts on the day. Might be another one here, and wow, just outside, 2-2. McLean looking at the sign from Wilson. He has a runner in scoring position and a man at first. Looks over at second. Pitch home. Ground ball over to Sal Lamo. No chance at a double. He's going to go for the force out at second, and he gets it after a little bit of a bobble from Sal Lamo. Good job from him. Luckily, he recovered. That could be trouble if he wasn't able to recover, and he went for the out at second, didn't get it, but he gets the out at second. The force out, now runners on the corners, and it keeps the double play in store. Lamo hasn't been on the team for very long. Last time we played the Scallywags here in Tarboro, he made a wild barehanded grab, throw it to first. It wasn't in time, but it really was a crazy play. The way it bounced, he barehanded that, and it was was really impressive. Didn't get the out. But if you were watching, just a few plays after, I think 2 batters after, there was a hit onto left field. Newton was playing left field. It dropped just fair. It looked foul, and Newton hurt himself. He got up there, threw it to Shelton at third, and a relay home, and it was such a close play. That was such a fun play to watch. Runner's going to go, 1-0, grounded out. Could be a double play right at Sal Lamo at second. Tags it. He's going to be safe, and the runner's going to get home as there's no throw to first. That was a close call at second, and a tough play for Lamo to get to it, but he just couldn't get to it in time to tag second, as it was hit a little too softly when he was charging second. So now there's going to be runners on first and second. The first run of the game for the Scallywags, 8-1. And thank you, Noel Bernal. It's really, really fun watching your son, Max Bernal. He's been such a great addition to the team. I'm glad he's joined all the way from California, and I know for a fact it would be tough to go from California here to Tarboro to watch the game, so I'm really happy I'm able to stream it for you to watch. But everyone's seeming so sentimental about the game, but there's a good chance that there's a whole nother championship series, so don't want to jump the gun too soon on the end of the season. I don't want to think about that. I don't want this to end. I've had such a great time. So runners on first and second as Josh Folks, or actually I believe it's Max Puckett. He hits it hard to center field. Boogie Saunders at the wall, trying to make a diving grab. Gets past him. Runner is in front of another runner. The throw, oh, they're going to be in a jam as runners are on second and third. And the throw over to second. He's running, trying to catch him in a pickle. Throw over to Shelton, he tags him, and he's going to get the out at second. A wild play after Josh Folks was clamping on to the runner in front of him, and the runner in front of him didn't go home. Cole Mascolo didn't have a play to go home, and Josh Folks was way too close to him and got caught. Max Puckett went into second thinking that they were going to round, and he's sitting there at second like a sitting duck after a massive hit from him, and he doesn't get necessarily rewarded the way he should. So they get the out, but there's runners on second and third, and they really needed to stay with the bases loaded. It was a great play from Boogie Saunders. As you know, his arm is just wildly strong, and he's not the biggest dude in the world to have such a strong arm. It's really crazy just seeing how strong he can throw it in, and he threw it in a great throw over to second to Sal Lamo, and they picked up on the way the runners were just not on the same page. Bad base running from the Scallywags, and it cost them an out and possibly a run, as there would have been one out and the bases loaded. McLean continuing on the mound with runners on second and third, and 2-0 count now, an 8-1 ball game. 2-0. That's hit hard over to Armani Newton, right at him, and he catches the line drive for out number 3 as the Riverbend Astranum on second and third. Good job from the River Bandits catching on to the bad base running from the Scallywags, and they keep it 8-1. Heading into the bottom of the 8th, could be the last time the River Bandits bat in this series against the Scallywags. We have Jack Nielsen leading off, but I think he's getting pinch hit for by John Howard. We'll let you know in just a moment on YouTube Live. have John Howard leading off as he's pinch hitting for Jack Nielsen. He's over there first now, and he scorches it down the third base line. It's going to get to the left field wall. He's going to round first, going into second, and he's going to get a stand-up double to lead off the inning in one pitch against Ryan Cason. That brings up Sal Lamo, who is pinch hitting for Brandon Phillips. He took over second base. He has John Howard at second after a leadoff double. That breaking ball gets in there for strike one. Yeah, I'm trying not to jinx him, Mike. Seems pretty good now, just really close. He grounds that out over towards third. Aiden Feather is going to grab it, scoop it up, and it's a low throw, and Max Puckett can't scoop it. Sal Lamo's going to reach on an error. John Howard did have to stay at second. Brings up Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson not getting pinch hit this game since we have so many catchers. Sometimes that happens. He's going to hit that into right field. Josh Foltz is going to move a few steps to the left and get under it for out number one. Armani Newton, the leadoff hitter, on the plate as he scorches that, but it's going to get caught by the center fielder. And I could not tell if that was dropped or not, and I thought he hit that a lot harder, to be honest with you. But John Howard's going to tag second and go into third. Johnny Wall up at the plate with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Could be the last hit of this series against the Scallywags, and there's been such a rivalry this season. Throw over to first, and he slides back in safely. Johnny Wall with a hit, 2 RBIs, and a walk today. Chance for more RBIs. Runner's going to go. Lamo goes. That's going to be a strike one call, but Lamo's going to get into second with no throw. Now both runners in scoring position. That's going to be low. 1-1 to Wall. This Wall has really been a defensive anchor for the infield here. Came in and he just made our defense so much better at the shortstop position and made everyone around him better. That's going to be outside. A good take from Wall. On deck, Max Bernal, who has 2 hits and 2 RBIs today. Johnny Wall, 2-1. The pitch home from Cason, going to be in there. A low strike 2 call. The 2-2 pitch to Wall. He's going to slap that foul into their bullpen. A good pitch from Ryan Cason. But Johnny Wall spoils that off. Going to do it again, 2-2. Crazy that the Scallywags have 6 hits and they're down 8-1 as Johnny Wall goes down swinging for the 3rd out of the inning and strands Sal Lamo and John Howard at 2nd and 3rd. Game's going to stay 8-1 going into the top of the 9th. We'll see if McLean comes out or if we have a new closer in for the top of the ninth inning. River Bandits just trying to hold an 8-1 lead. 3 strikes away from clinching this series against the Scallywags. We'll be right back here on YouTube Live. Designated hitter James Duncan is leading off the top of the ninth, and he's going to have to get on. You can't get a leadoff man out if you're on the Scallywags side trying to come back in this ball game as McLean pounds it with a strike one on the outside corner. McLean has pitched the last 2 innings. Has allowed a run. Pitch home, and he can't get to that one. 0-2. McLean on the game. 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Can't hold up on that one, and that's a strike 3 call. Quick out for Evan McLean in 3 pitches. Gets the strikeout, as James Duncan can't hold on to that one. That brings up Alex Uloa, the shortstop. And the River Bandits this season have really had a rivalry with the Scallywags. You thought it would be more with the Steamers, which obviously another divisional team. It is with the Steamers as well. But I feel like the most trash talk between 2 teams in this league have been between these two. As that's ripped down the third base line. Preston Shelton can't get it. Bounces over his glove. Uloa's going to round second. There gets to the outfield wall, and Uloa gets to second safely with a double. It was a tough play for Shelton after it took a weird hop. Bounced up off the grass and over his glove all the way to the left field wall. Armani Newton goes up and grabs it, but not even close to in time to beat Uloa's run to second base. Brings up Christian Yu, the second baseman. As I was saying, the trash talk has really been on another level, as earlier in the season we had both of our River Bandit coaches thrown out and a lot of trash talk from both sides. It was really a high-tension game. I think that was my first game that was anyone thrown out. There's been a few games with people thrown out. That was my first game with Brendan Matthews thrown out and Coach Crosby thrown out. They went and swiped the mound because there was just a really set of bad calls in that game and a lot of trash talking from both sides. It has always been fun watching these two teams play, and it's also, as being the River Bandit announcer, no hate to the Scallywags, it's fun watching them most likely win this series and not even really make it competitive. It's just been an uncompetitive series, or non-competitive, for the Scallywags. They really just haven't been able to get the bats going, and the River Bandit pitchers been showing out through both games, and the bats, finally some situational hitting from the River Bandits, getting runners home, laying down some, or trying to lay down some bunts, getting some sacrifice ground balls, doing everything they need to do. That's grounded out towards Preston Shelton at third. He's going to tag the man at third and get the out. Great heads-up play from Shelton to get the second out of the inning, as it would have been a tough play to first. And the crowd's starting to get into it. They're 1 out away from winning the first round of the playoffs. Trying to clinch that spot in the championship against the winner of the Steamers in the Greenbrier Knights series, and that game looks like it was delayed because it has stopped in the fourth inning, 0-0. Greenbrier Knights took the first game. Evan McLean on the mound with a chance to end this ball game. Gets a breaking ball that sails high to start the at-bat. Facing off against Riley Finkelstein. Could be the last man for the Scallywags on their season. Austin Cherry on deck. 8-1 ball game. Pitch home. Big swing and a miss. He can't get to the fastball. 1-1. Clean looking at the sign from Josh Wilson behind the plate. Riley Finkelstein trying to get on base. The 0-1 pitch is going to be inside. Excuse me, that was 1-1. Now 2-1. Man on first, 2-1 to Finkelstein. McLean. His 2-1 pitch, grounded out, but it's going to be foul. 2-2. McLean could get a strikeout to end the series. The crowd's starting to get into it, knowing that the series could end here. River Bandit crowd getting into it. A 2-2 count versus Riley Finkelstein. Smokey trying to hype the crowd up too. Outer Banks crowd has left a bit. River Bandit crowd is still big on our left side to us. 2-2 pitch from McLean to end the series. And the appeal to first, and he did not go. Makes it 3-2. Now a full count. Might have to face another batter if he walks him here. Riley Finkelstein at the plate. McLean with the righty-righty matchup. Man at first, pitch home, runner goes. He swings over to Preston Shelton, and he makes a diving grab. A line out. That had to have been over 90 miles per hour towards Preston Shelton's glove, and he dives to the left of him for the catch. Excuse me, he dove to the right of him, but the River Bandits win the series 2-0, a best-of-3 series as they absolutely dismantle the Outer Banks Scallywags. They did have a great season on the Scallywags side, but the River Bandits just too much. River Bandit pitching staff is just too deep, and they did their job. Only 1 run today and 4 runs last night. River Bandits put up 22 runs in the past 2 games, 14 the first night and 8 tonight, as they will face the winner of the Greenbrier Knights and Edenton Steamers series. Don't know who's going to win that series, as that doubleheader second game was delayed. Greenbrier Knights won that first game 7-6 after a big 6-2 comeback, and the River Bandits have scuffled against them this season as Essen Snyder and Boogie Saunders, 2 of our outfielders, doing their nightly win flips in front of the mound. River Bandits get the win. Was going to the chat, letting our PA announcer announce to everyone in Tarboro the big win, and the crowd is rushing out of here, trying to get out as fast as they can, as there is a big crowd here. I'll be here for another 20 to 30 minutes trying to get all the electrical, big important stuff for the stream nice and safe in my bag. And Chad is saying, got to keep the feed going for the game, winning backflips. Exactly. That's why I have it going. I keep it going a little pre-game or post-game show right at the end. My nerves are shot a little bit with how excited I am with the big win, and I really wanted the River Bandits to make the championship, and at some parts in the season they were scuffling, and you didn't know if they were going to, but here they are, a 2-game sweep of the Outer Banks Scallywags. They played like that every single game all year. I think they would have been undefeated. Wow, that was such a hard-fought game and just some amazing defense. They did have 2 errors, but for the most part, some great defense, made some great plays, and got the job done. An 8-1 victory. We don't know, unfortunately, who the next game is going to be against. But we do know that it will be here on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. We'll see if it's the Steamers. The Steamers always pack the crowd up on their side of the stadium. It'd be awesome if it's the Steamers. It'd also be awesome if it's the Knights. If it's the Knights, all 3 games, if it goes 3, would be here in Tarboro. The only thing that would be different is the Greenbrier Knights, the first game, would bat in the bottom half of the innings. So it would be fun playing against the rival Steamers, who have had the upper hand against us this season. But having the chance of all 3 games here and being able to do all 3 of the streams myself here in Tarboro would also be very, very uplifting for me and hopefully for you guys too. We will obviously keep you updated. I imagine our great Facebook team, I really only make the graphics, but our Facebook team of Wayne and Susan posting everything, keeping you guys updated on what's going on at the stadium and the upcoming games. I imagine they'll let us know very shortly on the wins of either the Steamers or the Greenbrier Knights. So we'll see who we're playing on Thursday night. I can't wait to be back here. We have a day off tomorrow. Players will get some rest. Pitchers' arms will get back to where they need to be as Baranek and Watson's not going to be here any longer, but Baranek will get his arm rested after the long start last night. He went 5 innings with around 75 pitches. And Lee Watson will not be back, but he had a great final game in Tarboro, and he's going to remember that for a long time. A wonderful game. He gets the win. River Bandits win it in 9 innings, 8-1. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for the kind words. Mr. Chris Brown and Jack Quincy and Patricia and Jack again, Maria, Darlene, thank you all so much, and everybody I mentioned earlier. I really appreciate it. I've had such a great time doing it, but it's not over yet. So we'll be back here in Tarboro on Thursday night. Can't wait to see you. I'm Dominic Gasulki. We will be back here on Thursday watching the River Bandits try to win that championship series, trying to redeem themselves after the loss last season in the championship against the Steamers. Good night, everybody.